as an individual, you really only get like one time to be the new person in the org. I'm like, I don't know who the person is. I just like the fact that he sent an email. He could have sent it to anybody at that point in time. When you the youngest, they be like, Chat, he's just young. It's okay. Or like they knew. They don't know no better. Obsidian is formed when lava and water come together. And so at an intersection. And then it's black. Right? And so I was like, that's enough. That's enough. And you know, it could be other colors, but the main color is black. So I was like, that's it.
How y'all doing tonight? Okay. Well, welcome to another edition of Breaking Bread. We really are gracious and thankful that, you know, for the people that have been rocking with us to continue to come and break bread and celebrate with us. But if it's your first time, welcome. We've been doing this for 2 years, and we're always so enamored with all the people that show up and break bread with us. But my name is Austin. I currently work at One Team. It's a sports athlete licensing company. I manage corporate strategy. My background's in consulting, finance, a lot of boring stuff. That's over there is Kenny. He works at JP Morgan doing sports marketing. He's done a lot of cool stuff at Amazon and like Ernst & Young and stuff. And then Justin Rufin Blanchette, the bald one over there. He's ex-McKinsey, digital strategist extraordinaire at Nike Overtime. So we're the Breaking Bread founding team. And so we're just excited to meet you if you've never met us for the first time. I'll pass over to Kenny to tell us a little bit more about Breaking Bread and why we got started.
Yeah, so I'll give you guys a little bit about the history of Breaking Bread. So actually started in the dorm room of Justin. So during business school in Ann Arbor at University of Michigan, started as a podcast, and then it later evolved to an in-person speaker series. So we've been doing this for 2 years now. Shout out to our partners here at the Gathering Spot. And so there are really two areas that we focus on here at Breaking Bread. One is access, so having amazing, dope speakers like Chad, and then two is the community component, right? All the beautiful faces in here, building community, connecting after our speaker series. So our speaker today doesn't really need an introduction, but in case you didn't do your homework, I got you guys. So today we're going to be breaking bread with Chad Easterling, CEO and co-founder of Obsidianworks, the culture-first marketing and advertising agency. Chad is a native of Newark, New Jersey, and wears many hats today as founder, CEO, marketer, brand strategist, and leader. Chad spent over a decade, or the equivalent of 2 max contracts at Nike, leading brand campaigns and product launches for stars like LeBron, KD, Russell Westbrook, and the late Kobe Bryant, while shaping the brand's deep ties to community. After years of reflecting and strategizing, he took a leap of faith for his next venture. He partnered with his childhood friend, an actor you may have heard of, Michael B. Jordan, in 2020 to launch his agency, Obsidianworks. Obsidianworks has worked with brands like Target, Frito-Lay, Marriott, and it launched the premier college basketball invitational, the Legacy Classic, in his hometown of Newark, tying back to his passion of hoops and community. Chad is a proud alum of Hampton University, where he obtained his degree. Go ahead, HU. Proud alum of Hampton University, he obtained his degree in sport management and was a member of the basketball team. Breaking Bread fam, give it up for our special guest, Chad Easterling.
That's an amazing background. Y'all wrote that.
Yeah,
that was good. That was good. Y'all really, that was a copywriting exercise. I
us
like
and
it.
ChatGPT.
I was like, wow. I use ChatGPT. I get it. It's necessary.
Well, Chad, thank you so much for being here today, man.
Sure.
How you doing today?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I can't complain. The traffic wasn't too bad, so.
No, it wasn't bad. And before we get started, having been to a couple of Breaking Breads in the past, I want to say like what y'all are building is amazing. And, thank y'all for, allowing me to be up here with y'all, and seeing how it has grown throughout this time has been a sight to see. And I know it's not easy.
It ain't.
So, I tip my hat off to you guys.
Appreciate you.
Sure.
We actually met a few years ago. So you came to the Jerron Smith event.
Yeah.
We met at that point.
Humbles. Yeah.
Humbles.
I've been
Yeah, you walked in on the Humble
I've
one
seen
too.
a couple of these, man.
Yeah. Is this your first time at the Gathering Spot?
No, it's not my first time at the Gathering Spot. It's my first time speaking at the Gathering Spot, though.
How you feel about that, the speaking piece? We talked a little bit about that in the
I mean, how do I feel about speaking to the gathering spot?
speaking in general.
You know, I don't like speaking. So anybody that knows me, and I'm not trying to be funny, people who know me, I really do get nervous when it comes to speaking in public. But I always speak in public. So it sounds like I'm lying, but that is an absolute fact. I do, you know, um, I'm working on getting over my uncomfortability, and I always feel like I continue to say yes because I feel like it's only through uncomfortable like environments where I can grow and see growth and find growth and develop. And so here I am, rambling on.
No, I appreciate that. I appreciate you
Yeah.
sharing that because what we were talking about a little bit before the show was like oftentimes, especially like our last few events we've had with Stephanie Mejia and a few other folks, they sort of shared that vulnerability around public speaking and being a leader and having to have that confidence. And especially for us as emerging leaders in the space, it's like comforting to hear that you have a little bit of nerves when you get on stage.
Yeah, I mean, I shared this story with them when we were on this call, and I was like, it doesn't matter who I'm talking to, when I'm talking, I'm always nervous. But what I was told by one of my mentors is it's when you're not nervous when you should really be scared, because that is typically when you more or less fall flat in regards to whatever you're talking about. I mean, it didn't make me feel better or worse, but it maybe might help somebody else here.
For sure.
You know.
So you've built this amazing career with encapsulating culture, community, creativity. I think things that we embody here at Breaking Bread. But let's get back to the foundation. So you grew up in Newark, family of three. Your mom was an educator. Speak to us a little bit about that experience and how that sort of laid the foundation for the chat we're seeing today.
Yeah. So growing up in Newark is, I don't know. It's like any. I guess let me not generalize it, but my thing about when I talk about growing up in Newark or growing up in inner cities is I feel like more often than not, when you grow up in an underserved community, I've found that I start to joke with my friends about who had it worse. Oh man, I did this. Or I didn't have this. So I typically don't like to speak about that side of it. But when I think about, my mom and what she instilled in my brothers and I, because it was just her, she put a lot of structure into us and how we operated, and from a foundational standpoint, it was around like nobody can take away your education and how important it was for you to have ownership in something. And at that time, it was around real estate. And she, on top of the fact that she, had her job and the most she ever made at that in her life, like to this day, was $75,000, right? But on the other side, what helped get us through everything was that, she had real estate. And so we were able to see her grinding throughout that time. And then her being an educator and her really instilling in us that, like, you can never, not have education and that can never be taken away from you. That was just something that me and my brothers held on to. She kept us busy. When I say she kept us busy, I'm talking like, man, we was at church. I was in 3 choirs, no cap. Like, I wasn't always this tall when I was in high school, but yeah, my big ass used to be up singing in the choir. I was in mad different camps, a lot of different programs. And so I say that because my passion when I was coming up, I wanted to be a biomedical engineer, right?
Well, where did that come from?
Well, my mom she was an educator, but she was in the sciences. She was a biology major or a chemistry major, and she was teaching people to become lab technicians. I used to do engineering camps, and doing the engineering camps, I ended up enjoying it. So I'm very much like a STEM kid. My mom has a prosthetic hip, and she's had that prosthetic hip since I was born. She got it 2 years before I was born. So I always grew up knowing that she had that, and so it made me get interested in like, oh, I want to design prosthetic limbs. Like that just seems and sounds fun, and so that's really what really propelled me throughout the time. But basketball took over, and so typically, like my brain, I tell people, I'm not a creative. I'm not a creative. If people who know me, I'm not a creative. I'm very much more like operational, practical, like logical. Like we can talk subjectivity if all we want, but like I'm going to figure out how we get back to like the objective points. Like, did we win or did we lose? Is them numbers black or is them numbers red? Like, what are we like? I get it, but so that for me encapsulates my time growing up and being around my mom. And it's crazy because like me and my brother, like my older brother's a doctor. My other brother works at a pharmaceutical company and is like a quality control, oversees like a lab, right? So like she did an amazing job. I tell her all the time that she needs to write a book or something, or I'm going to interview her just so I can have it for my records. But yeah, that's the background.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope. And so then you go to Hampton University.
Yeah.
You study sports management. And like I realized you were saying you're a hooper, but like I actually looked it up. You average close to like 20 points a game.
Yeah, no, you're
Like,
lying. If you looked that up and you saw that, that means that either you are just outright lying to these people, or you need glasses and you missed where the decimal was. And it wasn't 20, it was .02. You feel me? I ain't gonna lie. What are we talking about? You know, my running joke is also that like I might be the most successful one to ever come off the basketball team, regardless of how many I scored. But that's neither here nor there either. But nah. So going back to how I grew up, my brothers and I, we all went to HBCUs. One went to Morehouse, one went to FAMU. I had all my cousins went to HBCUs. My mom was like, "Y'all are gonna go to HBCUs." And she didn't like force it on us, but she exposed us to it so much. And so like the things that she exposed us to is something that I always carried on to even how I work. And I know we'll talk about this later, but like I'm really big into like exposure and experience because I feel like when opportunities do come, that is really what gets you. There's like, oh, I've seen this before and I've done this before. So when this opportunity hits, I know I'm prepared for it. And so she ended up, once we all did our thing, we became adults. She too ended up going to get her master's from an HBCU. She went to Bethune-Cookman. Even like, so like that's, going to an HBCU for me was one of the best decisions, one, because I just thought it was so cool to go to an HBCU. I'm like, damn, like I get to be around all these black folks, all these parties. And then the other side, it was just from an education standpoint, I felt like there was no better way for me to learn, grow, develop than to be in a group of people who looked like me. And so, and that was some of the best friends that I have made in my life. And so for anybody who did not go to an HBCU, I'm so sorry. I'm so, from the bottom of my heart, I'm sorry. Like, I can't imagine what it was like going to a PWI and you only got to hang with all the other black kids that were at that college.
That was I.
And then you be like, yeah. And you low-key gotta hang with them too, like even if you really want to, like we got to choose who our black friends was.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful thing. We are not a monolith. I don't like you.
I'm getting triggered just being
Sorry, I ain't trying to trigger you, fam. I'm sorry, but it ain't just you. A lot of them did.
Yeah, sure.
A lot of them did. It's okay. I still rock with all y'all too. Yeah, so, but no, I loved it. I loved that experience.
That's so dope. So you end up leaving Hampton to go work at Nike.
Yeah.
How did you get your foot in the door?
So I'm sure Jerron already left, but I'm going to make a joke about
He
him
said
anyway.
So. Something about tennis.
Yeah, that's Jerron for you, He came to show face, I came, but he ain't even stayed for the part that really mattered. It's cool. But so I was hooping and in the class. To make a long story short, I was in this, like the student athlete advisory committee. I applied for an internship. While I applied for this internship, I also was in my third year of college. But while in my third year of college, I was in my basically last 2 semesters of college. Because while I was playing basketball, I would come in the summer, we train, I would take classes, going back to how I was raised with education, I was taking classes towards my major. I was not just taking classes just to take classes and then I got to take real class in a year. So I'm still taking classes as a major. The way that the degree worked in sport management, you had to take an internship in order to graduate. I went, people talk about HBCU. Hampton is in Southeast Virginia. Ain't nothing in Southeast Virginia. So as I talk about my joy in going to an HBCU, for all y'all PWI kids who got real exposure into proper cities, I'm a little jealous, so it's all good. So when doing that, I knew, like, I can't actually do much in the Southeast Virginia area. So at the time, there was this website called Teamwork Jobs Online or something.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, bro, does it still exist?
I think so.
That's crazy.
It does? Okay.
Hey, look, I kid you not, man. I applied to over 100 jobs. I swear to you, I got denied from like 105. I kid you not.
Even the ones you didn't apply to?
I swear to God, bro. I swear. And so, but in the process of me applying to those jobs, I ended up taking this manila folder. I printed out a lot of the jobs that I applied to, and I took this, printed out, put it in a manila folder, and I went to all my coaches. And this is consistent no matter what type of school you went to, but coaches swear they are the most connected people. They swear they are so connected. Oh, my guy was over here at such and such. I'm like, all right, bro. And so, I went to every single coach. I had 6 coaches. I went to 5 of them coaches. I'm like, yo, here are the places that I applied to. Do you know anybody? So on and so forth. Because, the thing that my mom and my dad always said was, nobody's really going to help you if you're not helping yourself. And so I didn't want to go to them asking for something, and I didn't show them what I had already done. And so I brought this folder, and they're like, oh, let me see who I know here. All right, I'm going to get back to you. I'm like, all right, cool. So it was the last one, and it was over a 2 or 3 week span. I'm like, man, I ain't even about to waste my time going to talk to Coach Walters. I know he don't know nobody either, like the rest of these dudes.
You're the fake plug.
Yeah, right, exactly, And I was like, you know what, I need to finish what I start. And that's just something, again, going back to how I was raised, like, my mom was always like, finish whatever you're doing. Finish your chores or whatever. Finish what you start. And so I went to him like, yo, call Coach Walters, same spiel. Here's what I'm doing. Here's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get an internship, woo, woo. He opens it up. He looks at the different ones, and he goes, oh, I know somebody at Nike. He sends an email on the spot to somebody. I don't know who the person is. I just like the fact that he sent an email. He could have sent it to anybody at that point in time. It just felt good. I just wanted he emailed somebody. Sometimes it's just making somebody believe you did something if you didn't. Right. That's more enough of an ego boost. And so coming to find out, I was like, oh, man, he shot this email. I go back to my room that night. I'm talking to my room like, yo, Coach Walter shot an email. Hey, bro, if I get an internship, I ain't coming back. I don't care. I'm getting a job. His name was John Robinson. He's like, yo, for sure. Nothing came of it. Nothing. Nothing came of it. Until end of the season, I get a phone call. And it's a dude on the phone. He was like, hey, this is Nick. I said, how you doing? He was like, doing good. This is before a game too. Or a day before a game. He was like, yeah, I'm calling about your internship. I'm like, what internship? He was like, at Nike? I was like, nah, I don't know what you're talking about, man, but I'm down to keep talking. So fast forward, that's how I ended up getting my internship.
That's crazy.
That was it. Literally, he said, I'll call you back. I ended up getting an email a couple days later. At the game, the last game of the season was against Howard. And it was my junior year, but I was about to graduate. So they made an announcement about me going to get an internship. It was a really big deal. Clearly, they made an announcement about it. On the other side playing Howard, Jerron was on the other side. Jerron was the intern at Nike the year before. And when he was finishing up his internship and he was like, yo, do you want to come back? Woo, woo, woo. He was like, nah, I'm going to the league.
Hell no.
I kid you not. I swear. And, sir, you go to Howard University. And I'm not saying you cannot go to the league, but what I am saying is there's a 1.4% chance of playing college basketball. There's a 0.6 chance of you playing in the NBA. So again, when we talk about objectivity, sir, the odds are not in your favor. And that's for people who go to the blue blood top schools.
Yeah.
You're not if you don't go to Nike, but you know what? I appreciate you saying no. And that's how I got there.
Oh, shit.
And I never left. I never left.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's the story.
So you ended up being there for over a decade.
I was there for 11 years. And my guy G here, I tell you, this is for sure off script, but I would have not have made it at Nike if it wasn't for G.
How so?
Because like I moved to Oregon. Ooh. If you tell I was 21. I didn't know no better. I didn't know where Nike was. And I was from Jersey and I'm living in VA. And they're like, all right, you're going to Oregon. I'm like, cool, I'm going to Oregon. I don't know where Oregon's at. I don't even know nothing about Nike. And it just so happened, and when I got there, we're on the like the orientation, met this dude, it was G. Coming to find out, what I didn't know, G was like, not just the mayor of Nike, he went and played football at Oregon. So he was my entry into Oregon, University of Oregon, Portland.
Yeah.
And like that was a major like moment for me of like being able to like matriculate my way through the org. Like me and this dude used to walk around that campus every single day. Every day to go meet one person. A different person damn near every day for a 30-minute meeting. We just do one-on-one informationals. And like we'll go to, all right, who you gonna meet with? All right, I'm gonna go meet with this person. That was about a year. No, I ain't gonna lie. It was about 8 months.
Yeah.
They just knew we see us walking, like, y'all gonna meet with somebody, huh? Like, yeah. We trying to stick. We trying to stay in here.
I interned at Nike and I stayed in Beaverton for like 2 weeks and I was like, I don't know how y'all do it. I don't know how you did for 10 years.
I wouldn't have made it without G, bro. I wouldn't have made it.
I mean, there are people I was like, what do you guys do for fun? And they all like, we go hiking, we go running, which I enjoy.
Nah,
but I don't want that to be the main source.
Whoever
of fun.
told you that lied to you. Nah, they lied to you.
Okay.
I don't know what they did. I can't speak on them and their joy. That might have brought them joy. But what I was doing, I had a Cadillac. I had a 92. If I'm lying, G would stand up and be like, I'm Chad is lying. I had a two-door Cadillac Eldorado, and I was pushing that thing to Eugene, Oregon every single weekend with G. He'd be like, are we gonna go to the game this weekend? I'm like, cool, we going to the game. We party with college kids. I was 21. I was still in college. I graduated college a year early. I never got to do my senior year of college.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm like, cool. Like,
and the campus is dope too, all that. So
I'm
plugged in.
At that point, I'm acting like I'm a grad football player now. I'm on the field. I'm hanging out with the football guys. Like that was, and I say, and I really mean, like if it wasn't for that, like I don't know what I would have done. I don't know how I would have gotten comfortable in Oregon, but it was a great for me transition between like still being a college kid, but also having like a real person's job.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it was a thing.
That's dope.
Yeah, so thank you, G.
Appreciate you, G.
Yeah.
So you there for?
I don't know if he's there over here. I seen him earlier.
I think he'll. Yeah, I see.
Yeah, he over there in the cut. Yeah. He ain't know I was gonna say this, but it's real. Yeah, it's a real thing. He really here.
So you're there for over a decade.
Yeah.
Kenny mentioned all of the amazing athletes you worked with and helped curate their brands and such. Like any campaigns sort of speak out to you of like your experience there?
So two. The first one, so when I was there, I was in Oregon, then I moved to New York, then they moved me back to Oregon, then I moved back to New York, and then they wanted me to come back to Oregon. I was like, I'm good. That's when I decided to leave. But the first time I was there, I mean, that's how it goes. When you want to work somewhere, they're going to move you around. You ain't really got control of that, but neither here nor there either. The first time I was there, I ended up, this is when I really understood like the power of like, not just having an idea, but like speaking up about what your idea is and the idea you have. And so at the time I understood like, I was operating as the voice of the consumer. And so I ended up having this idea like, man, this is when I was working on KD's business. I was like, we should do a T that just says, I'm that dude. And I'm also fortunate there were a number of black executives there. And so one of the guys, MJ, was like, what's on that dude mean? I'm like, what it really mean? Or like, what it mean for like the T? I'm like, it mean I'm not. But, for this, I think I'm that dude. It's just it's a really interesting tee. We should just do a tee about, and put on a shirt. He was like, all right, I'm gonna take it to talk to Trevor. And so he set up a meeting, me to go talk to Trevor Edwards. And Trevor Edwards was, at the time, I don't know, he was like some big wig who ended up being the president of Nike at another point in time. And so I ended up going to Trevor like, hey, man, MJ told me to come talk to you. I have this idea for a T-shirt. And he was like, did you not have an idea for a T-shirt? And I was like, it has I'm that dude on it. And he was like, okay. He walked me over to the design team. He was like, hey, Chad has an idea for a T-shirt I think that'll resonate with consumers. The T-shirt ended up, they ended up putting a T-shirt in production. And then on the flip end, with me and Jerron, when I was in New York during an NBA lockout, and I feel like he might have talked about it during his Breaking Bread, but another pivotal moment was the NBA lockout, and I ended up, me and him, we were on the phone. He was like, hey, man, the global team has this concept called basketball never stops, but nobody knows what to do with it or how to make it a real tangible thing. And I was like, oh, all right. I was like, I'll come back to you. So me and him, we be on the phone all the time. Same with me and GB walking around campus all the time when I was in there. I'd be on the phone with Jerron all the time because he was the North America basketball person and I was the East Coast basketball person. And so I hit him back. I'm like, yo, I got an idea. They're about to do this basketball game because NBA players are on a lockout. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I'm going to print up some tees and I'm going to put basketball never stops on it. He's like, but we not going to run it through nobody? I said, bro, we in the clear, bro. We going to do it. We going to ask for forgiveness later. I got this.
How many years have you been at Nike at that point?
I got there in 2008. This is 2011. So what's that, 3 years?
Yeah.
Or less than 3 years, truthfully. And I go on Microsoft Word. I type.
No way. You say it way too casually, like you put. Nah, there's no way.
I started this conversation too. I'm not here to be no creative. I go on Microsoft Word. I type in Bassa never stops. I make the font super big, like 100.5 or 150 font.
This is year 3, and you,
bro. I got no sense at all. But it also shows you at the time I had this sort of I don't know, audacious spirit. This is what we're gonna do. Microsoft, I sent it to my designer, and we had a printer in New York we always use. I'm like, yo, I need you to print up 50 of these tees. And I'm like, Ryan, I'm gonna do this. He's like, all right, bet. I'll cover you. I do the joint, and they get picked up. It ended up being the biggest Nike basketball T-shirt for, I don't know, 6 years. It was a really pivotal moment in our careers of understanding what kind of power or influence you can wield at a huge company when everything lines up.
Where do you sort of attribute that audaciousness to, one, and then secondly, how do people respond? I mean, I can't imagine everyone was just like, oh, so everybody's just gonna print off tees on Microsoft Word.
No. I mean, so after I did a Microsoft Word joint, I actually there was an art director in the office. I'm like, yo, I did these tees, it's getting picked up, but I feel like something is missing. And so he put it into Nike's font and cleaned it up.
Got you.
And I printed a couple of them, and then once the global team picked it up, then they really fixed it.
Okay.
But for me, what I tell people is I had the unique opportunity to be at Nike at a time where I didn't know no better, and I think, what somebody, with the number 2 person on my agency now always says, you only get one time to be small as a company, right? If as an individual, you really only get one time to be the new person in the org, or the one time to be the youngest person on the team. When you the youngest, they be like, chat, he just young. We'll be okay. Or they don't know no better. So that's your best time and the best opportunity to take those kind of risks because you're gonna get a couple passes. After a while, I'm like, you know better, Justin. You knew better. Like now we can talk about reprimanding or whatever, but at that time I was like, I ain't know.
Right.
So it worked.
That's dope. Because I think
Yeah.
some people don't take as many chances because they are the new person and they wait till they become a little bit more experienced.
They're not
but-
gonna fire you. Just got there.
Right.
You just got there. Like, what you mean? I just got here. On what grounds am I getting let go?
That's my
Like,
first
what?
strike. That's my first strike.
Yeah, it's my first strike.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? I don't even know what the process is yet. How you mad at me? I just got here.
That's my bad. That's my
You
bad.
feel me?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
you know, so if you knew, you only got 2 times to do that. 2. After that, you on your own.
So you were there for over a decade. You mentioned, so you kind of alluded to the fact that you were moving back and forth between New York and a few other places. But you eventually decide to leave. Now, most people would see you being there like, okay, you've been there for a decade. You're probably making some decent bread, probably really good bread.
I was making really good money.
And you're getting that 40, 50% off discount at the Nike store.
I wasn't paying for anything. I'm only here to talk facts. This is not a flex. I'm being absolutely honest.
You probably still wearing some of these shoes that you didn't, you know what I'm saying? So
Nah,
what was the point where you were like,
Or they in the closet getting crumbled up because I ain't never worn them.
Exactly. but you could have had that life of comfort.
Yeah.
And I don't know what town at this point that you were in.
I was in
Beaverton
New
or-
York. I was
you
in New York, and I've never actually said it in the interview form, but I'll say it to y'all because I think y'all family. This is my first time doing this one. So I was making $235,000. I was 28. I was like 27.
Once you said 20, everybody's like, damn.
I was like 27 or 28, making $235,000. I was getting like a 20% bonus. My bonus is like $75K. I was living in New York though. Cost of living. This is all cost of living increase, people. So
Free Nikes.
yeah, but you know at that point I was
Access to a lot of things.
Yeah, but and I say that because this is before I ended up getting an offer to come back to Portland. So
to HQ.
I would have gotten another raise. And I say that because it was hard for me to leave because golden handcuffs are real, right? And so to be in my late 20s and I'm already making, you know, $250 basically. I don't care who your friend is. Like, you low-key could just stay where you at and ride this out.
Right.
And what somebody asked me when I decided to leave was, they were like, hey, why would you leave when your trajectory is going up? And I said, Dame, I said, would you rather I leave when I'm plateauing or when I'm on the decline? And he was like, damn, I never thought about that. I said, yeah, bro, like, if I'm ever gonna do it, and I don't know if I ever want to leave, but I feel like I should do it now while I'm in my 20s, and then, you know, like,
Always go back or do something else.
I'll figure something else out. But at this point, I have enough confidence in myself where I'm just foolish enough to be like, I'm gonna go try this, and that was really the thing was like, if I go back to, I was already at 11 and a half years. If I go back to Oregon, I gotta do 15. What's 4.5 years or 3.5 years? If I do 15, I might as well do 20. Like, what's another 5? I'm only gonna be like 35 or something like that. I'm doing 20. Why would I leave? Okay, that's when I knew I had to go. Because I'm like, I already mapped my the next 15 years. Okay, I gotta go now. It's time for me to go. That was enough.
And that's so dope. And I think to the point of like, you mentioned the experience, you mentioned the campaigns you're working on. I imagine Michael B isn't the first person who's approached you to say, hey, like, come do this thing with me. Or even a brand or a company to approach you and say, hey, come work for me and lead this division. So why was Obsidianworks the opportunity to jump for?
Yeah, he wasn't, but me and Mike, we grew up together, right? Like, so we already, you know, we grew up, we know each other since high school. And so, you know, he did Hollywood, I did Hampton. We always stayed together, right, in regards to being friends. And so during his time, he was like, yo, I need you. Can you help me with this or that? And I just felt like if I'm going to leave Nike, I'd rather leave to go do something that's essentially very, very different than like me going to another brand. Like, I'm not like, and the people who know me and know this side of me can correct me wrong, but like I don't ever feel like I was really like fully drinking the Nike Kool-Aid. But there ain't many companies like Nike.
Right.
And so in my mind, I'm like, if I'm gonna do it, I'd rather do it with and build something with my friends.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like, can't nobody really be mad at like I'm about to go do something with one of my boys, right? Like, he just so happens to be an actor and ascending, and
Yeah.
so to me, that's really what was it for me.
That's
It's
so
like
dope.
I can just go build something with one of my closest friends, and we see what that looks like.
That's fire.
Yeah.
Where does the name Obsidianworks come from? What's the origin of it?
Man, I actually still have the notes in my phone. I cycled through a couple hundred names. No, seriously, man.
I
Like
can imagine.
I went through a lot of names. So the name comes from. I'm gonna try to be quick because I feel like I'm being very long-winded in all of my stories. Sorry.
No, you're good.
No, I'm
No.
being nervous. So basically, I wanted something that had some type of meaning and context and story behind it. So with Obsidian, both of our moms are into like holistic health, right? Obsidian is formed when lava and water come together. And so at an intersection forms obsidian. And everything that I wanted us to be doing is to happen and occur at an intersection, right? So sport, culture, this, whatever. Obsidian also has many uses, right? It could be one of the sharpest scalpels. It can be a mirror. It can, so the fact that it's a bit of a multi-dimensional, multi-use item, there are healing properties or qualities to it because it's a stone, and then it's black, right? And so I was like, that's enough. That's
Yeah.
enough. And it could be other colors, but the main color is black. I was like, that's it. Yeah.
That's dope. And the team you've built, I mean, the executive team you've built is like all diverse. So it's super dope that you have that sort of imprint on it. Like, what does it feel to sort of be the leader of it? How do you sort of define your agency and some of the things you guys have been working on?
Oh man, it's stressful. We could do a whole nother talk about what it means to be a leader of an organization. But it's rewarding, I think as much pressure that you have running an organization, because like at the end of the day, like I am helping people live their day-to-day lives. It's a very rewarding feeling to be able to give people opportunities to see something in themselves that they don't see in themselves, or give people opportunities to do things that they never said they'll do. Like today I was having a call with some of my team, and he was like, hey, I just want to give a disclaimer and level set with you. Like, I've done a lot of things, but I've never done this specific thing that you were asking before. So like, it might be good if we bring in an external person or consultant or whatever. And I was like, I mean, when I hired you, I knew you never did that before. So it's okay if you're learning, if this is the one time you're gonna figure it out,
Right.
we're gonna figure it out together.
Right.
And we're gonna talk through it. And if it mess up, then we both messed it up.
Right.
But if it goes well, we got a story to tell.
Right.
And
Learn
so I
something
think
either way.
yeah, and so I think for me, like that is the it's one of the pillars at the crux of like what I'm trying to build is like an environment where people are able to learn, grow, and develop, and a place where like people can bring their whole selves to work. Like not in a way where it's detrimental to the company, because some folks hear that and they be like, "I'm about to." Don't do that. Don't however you're gonna finish that sentence, don't do it. It still work. But like I want people to feel like that they are able to like feel comfortable and safe enough to deliver the type of work that they feel good about, and they feel like it's great work. And that's the type of environment that I'm trying to build. And so, hopefully I'm doing that. I got people on my team here. I don't even want to look because they might be like, he lying, but it's okay.
Is there a difference between, or what is the difference between sort of running an enterprise like at Nike and then leading an enterprise that is celebrity, connected?
Well, I think one of the biggest differences really is like at a Nike ain't yours. Like you, that is an absolute cruise ship.
Yeah.
You jump off that cruise ship,
Still going.
it's gonna keep on going.
Mm-hmm.
The same speed that it's going too. It's gonna keep on going. You
Right.
jump on that cruise ship,
Yeah.
it's gonna keep on going. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what that is. Whereas when you're not even just it being a celebrity connected thing or talent connected thing, but like when you're doing a startup thing, it's like today we rowing the boat. I'm gonna hire somebody who's gonna be building the motor while I'm rowing, and then I'm tired of rowing, so I'm gonna go get the motor going, and then we're gonna add somebody else, and we're gonna eventually try to get it to a place where there are all the systems and process and structures in place. And I think oftentimes people just assume like, oh, there's talent involved, it means this.
Yeah.
I think when you are thinking about this from a brand perspective, we might see talent and think like, oh, that's a win. People who don't look at us might see it and be like, oh, that's a vanity play. Ah, they not really serious. Oh, they not really doing. Oh, like, but what's this? Oh, okay, so what role does he play? Okay, so is he involved? Okay, but like, are y'all really legit? Okay, so what's your resume? So there's a lot of other things that come in because you just don't fit what the criteria is for that. And I think that's something that, we're constantly, are constantly trying to like correct by our action and what we are doing.
Right. I'm gonna ask one or two more questions, and then we're gonna flip it over to the audience for you guys to ask questions. Kenny and Austin are gonna run some mics, so get y'all's questions together. Let me ask you something. So, do you feel like you've built a team or like a company in which the next young Chad who wants to put something on Microsoft Word and like create that T-shirt has that level of audaciousness? Do you feel like you created that environment? Like, how have you sort of been intentional about that?
That's a really good question. I think I might say no. I think that has always been my goal, and that still is my goal. But I don't know if that's how I'm communicating to my team.
Right.
More often than not, I think in my mind, I'm like, if it ain't no structure, do it. Like
Yeah.
What are you looking for me to say? You can just do it. But at the same time, I think sometimes people need or want a little push, right? But on the flip end, I guess the reason why I guess I could say yes is for the people who say to me like, "Oh, I want to do X," I'm like, "Do it."
Yeah.
Like, so on one hand, I want to get to a place where I'm doing a better job, encouraging and developing. But on the other hand, I'm like, if you ask, I'm gonna tell you, go ahead.
Yeah.
Now, what happens next is on you because I've
Right.
already given you the green light, and so, I'll go back and forth with that one.
That's dope. Before I turn over to the audience, can you share a little bit about the Legacy Classic, you and Michael B's, vision behind it and what you're looking for long term?
Yeah. So, quick thing for Legacy, like, it's not often, like even when I think about the things I did at Nike, it's not often that you do work that really checks all the boxes of your life. And I think for people, anybody who has been able to do something that checks every single facet of your life, I think that to me alone is one of the best and most rewarding feelings. So to be able to do something in Newark, tied to HBCUs, tied to basketball, for me was like a very like rich and fulfilling moment. And so for us, it was really around, we wanted to give HBCUs an opportunity to play on it at the exact same platform in the same way that, premier programs play and top programs play.
Right.
And more often than not, when it comes to getting recruits, when it comes to all of that stuff, it's a media conversation. How many TV games does this school have for me to want to choose this school? This is also the time before NIL really kicked up. But even with NIL, it's like, are these players getting media time? Are they getting exposure? How are they able to build their brand? And so we saw Legacy Classic as a way to give these players an opportunity to have that platform we also saw Legacy Classic as an opportunity to expose kids in the Northeast to HBCUs because it's hard to be exposed to them when you live in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Philly. You don't always get to see or be exposed to a Morehouse, a FAMU, whatever. So for us, it wasn't just about the game and what's happening on the court. It was about everything else happening off the court. So it was a startup kids competition. It was a career fair. It's a college fair. It's esports gaming. You know, we were really trying to be intentional about like how are we giving these kids an opportunity to like to really see what's possible, not just the kids in Newark, but also HBCU kids to do a startup pitch competition or do an esports gaming competition, given like what gaming was like. That was a big deal for us. And then going forward, you know, we're having conversations around like, where does it go next? Does it stay in Newark, right? Do we move it somewhere else? Whether it be down south or to another more, you know, cool location, right? That might be more like an island, right?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And so we're just trying to figure out, like, right now we're in that stage trying to figure out, like, what does it look like to continue and how do we keep it going, you know? But it's been an amazing thing to see. Like, you know, it was only 7,000 people in the arena, you know? And I think sometimes people are like, you just assume that because you build something, like, it's gonna hit the first time. And there's so many reasons why you should not do something or why you may not want to do it. But once you get past that first hurdle, to me, I feel like that's the hardest part, is to get one off the ground. That next year, we ended up having 13,000+ people there. The year after that, we had 13,000+ people there, right? So the arena only holds 17,000, you know? So it really takes time, but the hardest is the first. And we're just happy we got the first one off the ground, you know?
Yeah. Blessings to y'all, man. That's super dope. I love what y'all doing. All right, we're gonna turn it over to the audience for questions. I think we got one right here. In the woman here. Oh, pass, yeah. If you would just say your name, if you're a transplant, where you're from, and then your question.
I am a transplant.
Hey.
Hi, my name is Jade McCrary. I'm from Daytona Beach, Florida. Been out in LA for 6 years. Oh, for real? What part? Okay, hour down the road. My question to you is, I love your story about leaving Nike and starting your own thing. What's your advice to young entrepreneurs trying to build their empire as well?
One would be if you're thinking about leaving, I would say think about the things that that you might be taking for granted where you are. And I don't mean that to say stay. What I mean is, like, when I left Nike, the thing I feel like I did not really have a good understanding of is operations. And I felt like I wish I would have like made a more conscious and concerted effort to really pay attention to the operations team, because it would have helped me over here, kind of thing, you know? So, you know, that to me is one of the biggest things that I would say is, like, if you're going to do it, like, really think about like what all that looks like. Because I think, and I'm not going to go too far into this, but when people leave, I think being an entrepreneur, growing an enterprise are two different things, and what's being required of you are two different things. And more often than not, we want to do some cool stuff. We think it's gonna pop, it's gonna be this, it's gonna be that. If the operations ain't sorted, it's quiet. It's gonna be quiet because it's cool, but you ain't got no business. You ain't got no cash flow to operate the business. So now what you doing? Stay in your job. You know, so for me, it was the operations, because I was not taking that seriously when I was there. So just think about the things that you were able to pull from and gain the insights from that can prepare you for what you want to do next.
Okay, that's helpful. Thank you.
Yeah.
And on this side.
Hi, Naomi, originally from Seattle, and I've lived here 7 years.
Take your time, sister. It's okay.
Hey, Chad. I feel like we've talked a lot about kind of like growth, your journey, development. Inspire us. Was there a pinnacle or like a oh shit moment of I am exactly where I've been wanting to be that's happened in your career?
Wait, is there
Like a pinnacle or defining moment where you've realized, like, I arrived. I'm kind of where in the rooms or places that you've been working towards.
no? I haven't hit that point, if I'm being honest. But I will say I've like over the past year I realized who I am, like who this version of me is, right? And then so more often than not, if someone's like, "Oh, like, what do you do or what do you good at?" I'm like, "I'm an operator. Like, I know I can run an enterprise. I know I can run a company. You know, like it doesn't mean that I arrive, but it for me it gives me more clarity and understanding, like whether it's Obsidian or another or go back to Nike or anywhere, I know like, no, I'm an operator. Like I can figure out how we get to X profitability or whatever we're talking about from an organizational standpoint. But no, I ain't arrived yet.
Ariel Moyal, Los Angeles, born and raised, down the street, actually. So my question is, I think that a lot of people, when we talk about shifts in life, I think people don't understand like definitions of success. And so I'm going to ask you a question that's maybe vulnerable, and if you don't want to answer it, don't. But I think it might help people in the room, and it might help someone like me. So I left as the vice president of the sixth largest sports agency in the country, and a lot of people thought I was insane. But my definitions of success were not in alignment for what I was doing on a daily basis. I think that people probably looked at you leaving Nike with very similar kind of critique. So I feel like there's an important conversation about framing what your success looks like and not having to listen to the noise in the room when people are chattering about why you're making that sort of choice. So I'm kind of curious, what's your definition of success, and does it align with what you do now?
Um, when I was at Nike, my definition of success was just making it to 10 years. That was it. And I did 11 and a half. I was like, cool, I'm successful. Um, Now, my definition of success now is what I would say passion is to a lot of people. It's ever changing for me now. Like success for me nowadays, it is legit connected to whatever goal I've set for the week, the month, or the quarter. Like, you know, and it's always going to change. Like I might be literally today, some of my team, he was like, "You gonna be so happy?" I said, "What? You gonna be so happy?" And I said, "Why am I gonna be happy? Did we just get this amazing amount of money or something? Like, why am I about to be happy?" And it was like something that you've been wanting to do, we are finally able to do. I guess at this point, I have to find what success looks like every single day because I'm in such a dynamic business in order for me to keep going. Because if it's too lofty, I might malfunction and shut down and be like, it's just a bit too much. So I need to take it one small piece at a time personally.
So, you have a question?
Yep, there.
Uh-oh.
Well, both.
Sorry,
I don't-
yeah, you go
I'm
ahead.
looking left and right. And back.
You next, and then
All right. I'm Nate from Maryland. Been here in LA for 4 years. As an entrepreneur myself, I've been doing this for the past 3 years. I think one of the difficult things is just doing it by yourself. So on that transition from going to Nike to starting your own stuff, how crucial was, or was a strategy part of your strategy having a co-founder? How crucial was that in you making that decision?
Wait, was this?
Having a co-founder.
Oh, having a co-founder.
So in your decision making, how crucial
Oh.
was that as you're doing this transition?
It was big, man. Like I'd say this, and somebody else said it in one of the other Breaking Breads, but I think it was Humble. But it wasn't just the co-founder piece and having a co-founder that was really helpful. It was really like, who are the other people that are going to come with me to do this? And so, you know, that for me was a big deal because what I knew was I don't have all the answers, And so I needed one additional person on top of Mike who understood, like, we just gonna figure this out. And I had one other person who was like, I just work with my friends too. Let's do this. I was like, oh, perfect. So the co-founder piece is important, but also having a couple other people who you can galvanize and get behind what you're trying to build is also important as well.
All right, Kenny, we got
One
two.
more.
Yeah, Ashton Morris, Memphis, Tennessee. I've been out here for like 8 years, so I'm kind of like a lot of y'all. So this is my question, and I think this is kind of a thing from there. So, as a Black-led executive in a space, how do you and your organization work to really look the projects that you choose to make sure that they're not monolithic and kind of open up different ideas as a Black space? Because I would say somebody as an athlete was in a different sport that wasn't in basketball, but that's dominant. And I wrestled and played football in college, which we're dominant and we win NCAA championships all the time as Black voices, but we don't get highlighted. Ideas like that, stories like that don't really get told, or marketing projects that don't get told as we are dominant in. How do you do the research as your company, or do you even look into doing those type of projects and taking those type of projects that might highlight different ideas as a Black space to make sure that a singular and repetitive story don't get told or project don't get told? Because I think as Black people, the safe and accessibility runs a lot of the marketing and the profitability margins that we have. Sorry if that was too damn deep.
No,
Nah, I heard all of it.
You spoke about this in like the Spring Hill interview, I think, about the.
I think so, as I'm gonna say it, but sometimes people don't like when I say this. You only as creative as the person that's paying you. And so, but what I don't mean me as the person that's paying my team. I'm talking about, bro, we've had amazing ideas we sent to brands, and they be like, nope. Like, we gonna fight, but we're also gonna do is keep that business. Respectfully, you feel me? I'm not saying we about to OD, but like, my team does an amazing job of trying to find nuances and trying to find the insight. Along with that insight comes the concepts and the creatives and the creative to pitch to these brands like, this is what you need to do. This is how we need to do it. And they might be like, that doesn't really align with our objectives, or like, we don't know if that's going to work. And I tell my team, like, hey, is this the hill we want to die on today? Are we willing to lose the business for this? If not, then let's just give them an idea that they want. And I'm not saying it has to be what they want, but like, you got to find the balance to me until you're in a position to be the person that's paying and be the person that's coming with the creative. And I know that people don't like to hear that, but sometimes that's just a fact. Yeah, I mean, that one is different though, because I think that's more like, as an agency, I gave you the agency's perspective. As a brand perspective, I mean, there's a lot of factors that go into like how, what, when they want to invest in something. But I think that the major takeaway for me when I was at Nike, when I'm talking to any of these brands at an executive level, is like, you have no idea what type of conversations they are having to oversee an entire organization. So everything you're saying is a valid point, specifically tied to what you're talking about. But like, are we factoring in the 98% of the rest of the business? And I think more often than not, that's the hardest part. When you're outside in, you might only be looking at 20% of what they are trying to think through. And that other 80% might make you look at it differently. So that's the perspective that I try to think about when I'm talking to brands. And I hope that that's something that my team is thinking about when they talking to me and asking me to do something. Because I'd be like, okay, easy example, bonuses. All y'all laughing because you know what I'm gonna say next. Who don't want a bonus? Who don't want a bonus? But also, I'm like, if I do this, you don't even know what the other people are asking for. But if you only thinking about what you want, yeah, I should give that to you. But so bonuses, raises, promotions, all that kind of stuff. It's a delicate dance, or like the direction you want to take a company in. It makes sense, but like, what about all it is, right? So it's tough. I'm not here to defend no brand either, though. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Back. Oh. All good, all good.
Hey, thanks so much. Love the conversation. Celeste Shields, also born and raised in LA, specifically San Fernando Valley. Love your comment also on the operations being important. I actually have my own operations consulting firm where I support startups and operations. So just putting a little quick plug. But my question to you,
Look at y'all.
but my question to you, I've been very fascinated. I'm mostly in the tech world, a little bit VC adjacent, but I've been really fascinated about the intersection of sports and technology, which really drew me to this conversation and event tonight. And I'm curious your thoughts on some of the coolest innovation that you've been seeing between the intersection of tech and sports, because I've come across a couple cool startups that are leveraging AI to review videos of games and stuff like that, and leverage that for recruitment. And there's just so much out there to try and just create more efficiencies. Specifically, typically what I've seen using AI. So I'm curious if you've kind of what's caught your eye in the innovation space between the intersection of sports and technology.
So I'll say, one, I'm having some AI conversations, so that definitely has caught my attention. But the one that has really been the most interesting to me is there's a dude that I know who I'm cool with. He's basically doing something around like finding a way, and this is something I don't even know much about, but finding a way to consolidate and streamline the process for athletes as it pertains to contracting with leagues. And so what I learned was like, when you are a professional athlete, all your contracts from the organization come like as a document, and then you got to go to your agent. So it's very fragmented. So he's creating this technology to make it extremely efficient. You laugh because you know it's true. Exactly. And so he's literally building this tech platform that makes it so that it removes it takes the responsibility off of one individual to mess something up, because once you get the contract, you got to plug the numbers in manually. He's keeping it all on a platform, which makes it extremely efficient for the players to see what's going out, what's coming in, for nobody to have an error of. I can go deeper into it, but you get what I'm trying to say. That's the tech that I find the most interesting from a sport and tech perspective.
I guess we have time for one more.
Do the last two. They both.
Two,
hands
okay.
up. It's all good. I don't know how much time y'all got, but I'm just
you're
over
good.
saying.
We here
I know
for
I
you.
do got a flight, but it's all good.
Hi, my name is Paris Phillips. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, and I also went to the real HU. Sorry,
That was
a
so
tip.
unnecessary.
Right. Why?
It don't mean it wasn't unnecessary.
I personally feel like it was very necessary. I also work at WME.
I don't want to answer your question.
See, as soon as she yelled that, I was like,
You
that was a
started
terrible
this.
way.
You started it.
Yeah.
I'm going to
Actually,
ask your
she
question.
did, if we're gonna be honest. I had to write down my question because I was gonna forget. My question is, are you and your team finding increasing difficulties and disconnects in the marketing industry given today's political and cultural climate?
Absolutely.
And what, maybe a couple examples, if you're comfortable.
Cut the tape.
I got the cease and desist on it. But here's what I will say. I like that I have not looked at anywhere from my team almost the entire time, and I did it just now, and I got the. So, but what I will say is this: I think it's it's tough. I think it's tough. It's tough. I'm gonna say it's tough.
I don't want no smoke coming.
And it's tough. Yeah, it's tough.
Thursday morning.
It's tough. It's tough. It's tough for us as an agency. The thing I will say is, we can do all the amazing work in the world. We can have the most talented people in the world. We can have all the tech, whatever the case may be. It don't change the fact that we Black. You know what I'm saying? And I think for me that is the most frustrating part is we at times are immediately put into the multicultural box just because we are black. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got folks on my team who will give you a lyric from any movie or any song, anywhere. That's just not because we black. It's because they like movies and music. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got people on my team who watch all types of TV shows, right? And we can do general work. It's just like, yeah, but all black. And so that's something that is frustrating for me. But I think, things will get better. I know that was, I really feel bad that this is the type of response that I'm giving you, but I'm also getting the nod like you did good, so I'm gonna leave it there. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go, off the record.
Okay, I think I have the mic.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Autumn.
Where you go?
I went to the real HU, Hampton.
Let's talk about it.
Oh, was that planted
Hey!
in the crowd?
No, it wasn't planted at
That was
all.
planted.
That's just
No,
how
it
it
wasn't.
works.
I didn't know she was gonna do that. I'm happy she
Right.
did, though. I'm happy she did.
A little piece of advice you would give someone who's like early in their career dealing with imposter syndrome, aka me. So yeah, we can close out on like a positive note, and as we close out the week.
That was amazing. Way to bring it home. For somebody who is early on in their career dealing with imposter syndrome, what advice would I give? Girl, I feel like I'm an imposter syndrome talking to y'all now. It ain't going nowhere. The thing that I would really say is just, it goes back to the beginning of the first question you asked about me being nervous. Is just like, you have to continue to put yourself in environments where you can actually see what it looks like out there. Because more often than not, it's okay. I think it is okay if you feel like you're an imposter, because one part of that is, you feel like that there are skills or qualities or whatever it can be that you don't have yet. But at the same time, it's also, it could be that you just respect the spaces that you are trying to enter, that you want to make sure you are showing up the right way. And who wants, I used to like to play video games, but who wants to play the same board on a video game? Like, cool, you beat that board 10 times. Like, go play a new board, And when you play a new board in a video game, or a new level, I'm saying board because I used to play Sega and all that kind of stuff, but a new level, like, you're gonna find new challenges and new obstacles, but you're also gonna find new ways to navigate those challenges and obstacles that you didn't have previously. And that's the thing that I try to remind myself is like, yeah, I might not feel like I belong at this moment, but I'm gonna leave out of here with a couple of new tools in my tool belt that can prepare me for that next level. Because where you trying to go and where you are right now, it ain't the same place. And so I think you have to really remember that, and remember, like, you need to continue to push on and persevere, because you don't want to stay stagnant. That ain't fun. So that's all.
Dope. I got 2 quick closing questions.
Shoot.
All right. What are your thoughts on Center? I know you obviously didn't work on the rollout strategy for it, but Ryan Coogler went crazy with it. Wonder if you saw it, what your thoughts on it, the rush, as a marketing executive.
Yeah, I saw it a couple times. But I think that as I have read more reviews and I've seen different edits of it, it becomes more and more interesting and dynamic when you think about the amount of layers that Ryan and the entire team put into that movie. And I really do think like it has the potential to change this, not only this industry, but a number of industries, personally.
For sure. I loved it. Final question is, what does the future of Obsidianworks look like? Any cool projects? I know you're looking at your team, but any cool projects that you can, maybe share that's coming out? No? Okay.
The thing I I can say this. They can't tell me I can't say this. You know, I think we are at a very, we are at an, I think that we are at an inflection point at the agency, and I think that I am in phase one of what I want to do with Obsidian, and I am very anxious and excited about what the next couple of phases can look like if responds to my email. I'm joking. I'm joking. No, I'm excited about the next couple of phases for sure. So that is what I know I can share, is that, you know, going back to the question, like how we started and how we are starting and how where we want to go next. My hope is that it puts not only me, but my entire team in a position where we feel like we have imposter syndrome.
I love that. We'll end it on that.
Yeah, take it.
Chad, thank you so much for being here this evening. Give it up.
That was pretty good, right? How did we enjoy it? There we go. Okay. So that was the speaker portion. Now we're gonna move next to the social hour. So everybody grab a drink. We gotta, cover the bar and whatnot. But definitely, yeah, grab a drink, meet people, bop around, and just connect and vibe. So appreciate you coming out. You can follow us on Breaking Bread Production on Instagram. If you want to watch some of the previous episodes or tapings, you can follow us on YouTube as well. And appreciate you.